What is up, YouTube? It's me, the artisanmc, and today I have some stuff I want to say. I want to get off my chest about some news I recently heard. So, before that, like, share, subscribe, support the stream if you feel so inclined. And I will get on with the show. Well, get in there messing with my shit. All right. So, this is just going to be a quick hit and run. I know other people got other shit things going on right now. And I figured I'd just slide in here real quick, say my piece, and go about my day. I still have this damn Deadpool and Wolverine review to finish editing and get up, and I have to get to League, which started at 7 o'clock. So I thought it was important to get this stuff in for you guys. So that's what the fuck I'm doing. So if you appreciate the sacrifice, definitely do support that. If you see me looking off camera, I'm looking at what you guys are saying in here in the freaking chat. So shout out to Malika. What's good, Malika? Peace, fam. He said, shout out to Rainfire Designs. He said, what's cracking? A little bit. Broken hearts, hurt feelings, the usual. Shout out to Joe Herb saying salute to you. All right. So I heard a little bit of news today, and I was having some thoughts. Okay. And one of the things I've been tracking this week that I found interesting is everyone's reaction to Deadpool and Wolverine, and the reaction of Robert Downey Jr. coming back with as Doctor Doom, and seeing how geekdom is responding to these two pieces of news is really interesting. Even as much as the acolyte comes into that conversation, as much as it should, because we should be done with the acolyte. Acolyte had his chance. It had 8 weeks to hold our attention. It sucked beyond measure, and not in a good way. We're done. We shouldn't be talking about this no more. It's over. Done. Finished. Finito. Out of here. You get nothing, ma'am. But these people still keep making the news because somebody keeps sticking a mic or a typewriter in front of their face to actually ask them what they think about fan bases and whatnot. And they keep having something to say. And nothing good to say. I can tell you that much. Now, what really made me laugh today was hearing a report about what Tatiana Maslany had to say about Ryan Reynolds in an interview, and how she was pissed off because, one, she was mad beforehand that She-Hulk was cut out of the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. He didn't want her in it. Like, okay, fine. But now that the movie has came out and she has seen it, she's really pissed because she didn't think Ryan Reynolds did it right. He should have did this and he should have did that. And I thought it was really funny while I was listening to this report, reading this interview from her, that she is so butthurt about what this man did in his movie of excluding her from it, that she thinks she needs to be the one to go in and tell him how, get this, how he should make a successful R-rated movie by representing which communities. That he dropped the ball, he failed because he didn't represent these communities. He just made jokes about them. And I'm listening to that and thinking, like, who the fuck are you? What successful movie franchise are you heading? Because here's the thing. We've talked about this in the space before. Angry Man has said it many a damn time, right? People who don't have experience doing this should probably shut up. And that's just a short version of it. So hearing Tatiana Maslany giving, you know, Ryan Reynolds shit or trying to rain on his parade about how he didn't represent certain communities and he's just making jokes and it was too much profanity and this, that, and the other. And She Hulk should have been in there. I'm like, shut the hell up. Ryan Reynolds is a movie actor, for one. Tatiana Maslany is a small screen television actor. Now, I might have liked what she did in Orphan Black. I might have liked that. I might have thought she was not that consequential and kind of silly and goofy, and it might have worked for She Hulk. But she is nowhere on the level to tell anybody how to make a big budget, rated R movie starring a character that is not her. No one. Now, I can tell you this from having seen Deadpool and Wolverine and having watched the whole series of She-Hulk. That character don't fit. The She-Hulk character, as put forth by the MCU, does not fit into a Deadpool and Wolverine movie. It doesn't. The inclusion of that character would have brought nothing to the table for that movie. Nothing. It would have driven people away. I can tell you that much for sure. It doesn't matter if She-Hulk breaks the fourth wall. You yourself are not funny, Tatiana. You're not funny. You trying to say the words that Ryan, Rhett, and I'm forgetting the last dude's name, Paul, wrote would not have been funny. It wouldn't have been funny at all. It would have felt flat and it would have been acted as well as your She-Hulk stuff was. Because make no mistake about it, a great actor can elevate shitty material because it's all in how they present, all in how they act. I saw She-Hulk. All that material was trash. And you did nothing to redeem it. Nothing. Tim Roth was having a time trying to make that into something entertaining. The best stuff that came out of your character's mouth wasn't even written by the showrunner. So I take it as an insult that she had something to say to Ryan Reynolds and telling him how he should do a movie that has already made $500 million. I think you need to shut the hell up. It seems like whatever Ryan Reynolds did and however him, Rhett, and Paul worked it out, obviously is working for the fan base. Obviously. Unless you think everybody who went and dropped down their hard-earned money to around the world to the tune of $500 million don't know what the hell they looking at and don't know what they like, you, ma'am, are an idiot. And you should have a seat and shut the fuck up. And whoever keeps asking this goofy ass motherfucker questions needs to stop. Quit it. We don't care. Her show is not getting a season 2. Look, maybe we'll see her in Avengers Doomsday. Who knows? But until then, have a seat. Shut up. I don't care to hear. I don't care to read your review. Who gives a fuck what you think? Yeah, your character was cut out the movie. Yeah, so was Captain Marvel and so was Ms. Marvel. So fucking what? None of those characters brought anything that would have been an improvement to what was already done in Deadpool and Wolverine. None of them. Now, the article this guy was reading from that she's interviewed in, she was saying how she didn't like the fact, and she being Tatiana Maslany, didn't like the fact that all the other cameos that were in the movie were from old characters that nobody knows. She thought those positions would have been better served by having her and Captain Marvel and Ms. Marvel in it to tie the movie into something new and current. You out of your... Are you out of your fucking mind? You think Captain Marvel showing up would have been better than Elektra showing up? You think Ms. Marvel showing up would have been better than Channing Tatum Gambit showing up? You think yourself, She-Hulk, showing up would have been better than Wesley Snipes' Blade showing up? You, ma'am, are delusional. And the more you talk, the less I'm liking you. You should really stop now. I'm able to separate the actor from the character a lot. I am. I don't have that problem. But what's happening right now is, regardless of how I feel about the She-Hulk character from the comics, how badly it was represented in the MCU, and how your personality is, your personal personality is fucking that character up for me. It's fucking up you, how I think about you as an actor. That's what it's doing. You should probably stop now. Because the more you talk, the less I'm looking forward to seeing anything else you would do. Anything. I may not like the Daisy Ridley Ray character in Star Wars, in the prequels. Excuse me, not the prequels, the sequel series. I may not like the character of Ray. I don't hate Daisy Ridley. I don't dislike Daisy Ridley at all. I'm looking forward to watching that movie that she has out now about the woman who swam the English Channel. I'm looking forward to watching that shit. It ain't got nothing to do with geekdom. It has a lot to do with Daisy Ridley and how she carries herself, which is she's never disrespected the fans, even when they didn't like her character. Nobody hated her. And she didn't jump out her fucking skin to say something foul to him. Oh, you don't like this? Well, you're this, that, and the other. Never. She just understood, well, maybe we missed the mark on some shit. And because of that, I will watch the next thing she does. I will still support Daisy Ridley as an actor. And hope for that Ray character to be rewritten by somebody competent. But your little half-pint ass, with the shit you spitting out your gullet right now, because you pissed off that you was cut out of a movie and thought you could have made a bunch of money by being in that movie, go fuck yourself. That movie was not for you. That was not your movie. Too bad. So sad. Mark Ruffalo wasn't in that shit either. You don't see him pissed off, do you? And we saw part of a Hulk. Sit your ass down and shut up. You running your mouth is just making me not like you. I won't support your ass. That's what'll happen. The She-Hulk character can be rewritten by somebody competent. But your ass will be sitting on the bench wondering why you're not a draw anymore in Hollywood. Because that's what a lot of you people in Hollywood media on small screen and big screen need to understand nowadays. If nobody will pay to see your ass, what are you doing? What are you doing? If your name attached to anything is like the poison pill, which automatically means none of the fan base wants to watch it, what are you doing? Maybe you should shut the fuck up so you can continue to collect a check. Maybe you should. I'm just saying. Or go off and start directing and making your own movies. Do the independent thing. Then you can talk crazy however you want to all the fans. And you know what? If it sucks, it'll kick you in the ass. You won't have a cushion of some big company sitting behind you to absorb your losses and your failures. This is making me dislike you as a person. Period. Not She-Hulk. You personally. I'm disliking you personally. So stop talking. Please shut the hell up. Now, sliding up in the number 2 spot for that, at least on the Deadpool Wolverine front, would be Joy Behar. Now, I don't give a shit about this woman at all. Why do I even know who she is? Because I know The View is a television show that's been running for a while. And she's the head of it. You know what I also know because I heard about it? Is her reaction to seeing the Deadpool and Wolverine movie and what she thought. Because somebody interviewed her. And you know what she had to say? It was too much profanity. I couldn't take my kids to see that. I don't know who could. It just seems juvenile. It just seems this. Really? Really, Joy? Really? That's what you got? I don't know if you noticed this or not, but it's a fucking Deadpool movie. The third one to star that character. Did you miss the other two? Did you miss the comic books at all? Now, what you guys don't understand, or you might not know, I'm not saying you don't understand. Maybe you just don't know. The reason why Joy Behar is getting a microphone shoved in her face to ask her what she thought of the Deadpool and Wolverine movie is because she had a lawsuit against Ryan Reynolds behind this Deadpool movie. Why? Because he wouldn't do press on her show. And he got Hugh Jackman not to do press on her show. And because neither him or Hugh or any of the writing staff or the director would come on her fucking show, she lost tens of millions of dollars in bonuses. And she was so pissed off about it, she put a lawsuit in against Disney and Ryan Reynolds because she wanted that goddamn money. To have the two of them sitting up there promoting some DEI bullshit, and they didn't want to do it. They said, like men do, no, I'm not doing that shit. And fuck you for thinking so. Now, the reason her ass is so, her old lady bloomers is so wound up her fucking ass about that shit is because her show is failing. Nobody's watching that shit. But it's propped up by Disney. You know, that's the parent company. And what do parents do? Prop up their trifling ass children. Bad parents do. So this old bitch is sitting up there upset because she's not getting a cookie for doing nothing, for being a fucking failure at her job. Her job. Her show, her business. She mad because somebody won't come on her show so she can make some more money off of it. Man, go fuck yourself. You ain't got to come on your show. That's not a requirement. For the movie I saw, it wouldn't have been a fit for him to be on that show. You know why? For the same fucking reasons you sitting out here trying to criticize him right now with as popular as his movie is. For the same reason. But you was willing to overlook that shit to get him on your show so you can get a payout, right? You must not have seen the other two movies, right? Where he had his Wade Wilson character getting fully pegged on camera by his girlfriend for Women's Liberation Day. You missed that? But that wasn't stopping you from wanting them on the show, was it? No. Sour grapes. That's all your ass is saying. Sour grapes. A bitter bitch eating sour grapes. Because she didn't get a payout off of what he was doing. Trifling. That's some trifling shit. Go on and do your damn show. And talk about the inane, dumb shit you always talk about. Continue to do it. Push the narrative. Carry the water. But understand and see where that's getting you. Because I can see where the way Ryan went is getting him. And the only people turning around pissed off at him about it is you gaggle of bitter bitches who couldn't catch a payout off of his hard work. Shut up, sit down. Nobody cares what you think because we ain't doing this for you. This man and company put out a movie that people are going to see multiple times, even in this economy. Why? Because it's good. It speaks to what they're interested in, and it is almost zero agenda involved in it. Except for the agenda of doing something for the fans. But you wouldn't know anything about that shit, would you? I can tell because the numbers on your show are so low. You wouldn't know anything about that. Now, the other person, and I'll pivot off of this to this another failing ass Disney product that we need to stop. People need to stop sticking microphones in these people's face, asking them what they think. is this fucking acolyte with Leslie Headland and Amandla Stenberg. Now, let's just get this out the way right now. And if it happens in reverse, if it gets reversed, it gets reversed. This is just the world we live in, and I don't control this shit. But there is no Acolyte season 2. I'm saying that shit is canceled. Not because I have an inside source, not because I work at Disney. I'm saying that shit is canceled. You know why? I'm a Star Wars fan base. And you know what I'm looking for? Not the goddamn Acolyte. I won't even watch season 1 again. What makes you think I want to see a season 2? My Disney Plus comes up for renewal in November. If I cancel that shit in November, it'll probably be because they announced the Acolyte season 2. Best believe. You want to fuck around and find out, Disney, how strong the fan base is, how much you can pull that thread between the fan base and your platform? Greenlight Acolyte season 2. I bet you see the drop off look like your stocks. Bet money. Fuck around and find out. Nobody I know of wants to see that shit again. They don't even want to talk about it. You know how much you know? Listen to your favorite geek commentator, reviewer talk about the damn Acolyte and ask yourself, are they talking like somebody did something inappropriate to them and they don't want to relive it? Yeah, because that's the way it fucking felt. A violation of the highest order. And these two goofy broads is campaigning out in public. No, we need to do it again. No, the fuck you don't. No, you don't. No, we don't need to see that ever again. Appreciate you, Rainfire, for supporting the stream. I just don't want to. Thank you for doing it. I want to stay in the flow right now. Just I got to get this done. Now, what I recently heard from the two of them is more troubling thoughts, but also the question is asked by me, why are you asking these people anything? Why are you still interviewing these people? Can't you just look at the Nielsen numbers and see what that show is doing? Look, I don't give a fuck what Leslie Headland says. You know why? Because nobody gave a fuck what Leslie Headland had to say before she did this show. Her whole agency for speaking up for women and what positions they need to be in was lost on me when I found out she was Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant. Because that's when your fucking agency and your respect and care for women in prominent roles and strong women was put to the fucking test. Apparently, you said nothing. So I don't want to hear that shit from you now. Your backbone is about as strong as a gummy worm. Shut up. Goodness. Don't you have something you should be eating? So I don't have to hear your mouth? Now, This chick really believes that everybody got the wrong idea about what her show was about, that it wasn't pushing no agenda or whatever the fuck. And every time I hear a report, an article being read from her, the first thing out of her mouth is LGBT and I'm this, that, and the other. Like, who the fuck cares? Do you have an identity? Or is this the one grafted onto you? I'm obviously a black man. I don't start every conversation saying I'm a heterosexual black man. I don't. You know why? It's fucking pointless. One, it's fucking obvious looking at me. The other thing is, it ain't nobody else fucking business who the hell I fuck. 3, they didn't even ask. So they probably don't care. But this goofy motherfucker can't keep that out of her mouth. That's her thing every time. And that's when you know, to me, 2 things. One, it's worse to talk about LGBT now than it is to call anybody a nigga. I'm really disappointed with how they have been able to come in and that community supplant the struggle of actual minorities and put themselves in front of all that, where you can't say nothing about them at all. You can't even make jokes, according to Tatiana Maslany. The other thing is, you know, the person is full of shit because the first thing they did was threw up their shield. I got my rainbow shield up. So anything you say against me will be reflected. Bullshit. This woman has sat up there and made 8 episodes of the worst Star Wars I have ever seen. And I've seen the Christmas special. Ugh. But she is still given a damn microphone to sit up there and talk and ask what she thinks of this fan base and what's happening with this show and all the rest of this. And her cause to boot is to say that the people reviewing it aren't real reviewers. You need to listen to the real critics. You can't trust the numbers you see online about how bad the show was doing. It's like, who you gonna believe? Me or your lying eyes? Well, wait a minute. There seems to be a show out right now, 8 episodes, that's doing really well. It's getting a lot of critical acclaim and audience acclaim. That's House of the Dragon. So are we not supposed to believe that either? Are we just supposed to believe the critics? Huh. Well, I would say that's bullshit. Why? Establishment critics are bought and paid for. To me. I can't prove it because I haven't paid them and I haven't seen them take any money. Can't. But I know I have never, ever gave a good goddamn about what no established critic had to say. Because I know they piped into the industry. That is, I'm probably going to say this word wrong. That is the equivalent of what? Pravda, or whatever I think it is, if I'm saying that correctly. That's the propaganda arm. Telling you what you are supposed to like. What your betters and your overseers tell you you're supposed to like. Well, I don't move that way. I don't. Never have. There are certain critics. Like, I grew up in the generation of Siskel and Ebert. I would watch At the Movies every week. But you know what I knew? The movies the motherfuckers hated, fans loved. And the movies they really liked, nobody liked. That's why I made the point on Sunday of saying, who are they making these shows for? The critics or the audience? Because the critics don't pay to see these movies. Best believe it wasn't the critics that pushed anything in the MCU to $1 billion. And it damn sure wasn't the fucking critics who made Star Wars the franchise it was that Disney just couldn't wait to get their hands on it. It wasn't the critics. But it was this fan base. So I don't give a good goddamn about what the critics have to say about anything, especially not the established ones. But in this generation, this social media era, where you can have people like myself and others, especially in the geek space, who know their Star Wars, love their Star Wars, have loved it their whole life, and can turn on the camera and sit there and tell you what they know and what they liked and what they didn't like about that show. That's a game changer. It is. It's a beautiful thing in some ways. You know why? Because we are the audience. How many videos have you seen from me when I'm leaving the theater? Having plopped down my hard-earned money to go watch these shows. How many other reviewers do the same thing? How many times you've seen some established critic coming out the movies telling you what they thought? You know, the ones that get that access. Yeah, Rainfire is right. Critics are fake as Richard Pryor, who is telling people which color is cool this week. Yeah, if you listen to that kind of shit. I saw the other comment, Rainfire. I saw that one too. Yeah. These two people, being Leslie, I want her to go away. Now, understand that the reason she keeps coming out and complaining about how Disney moves and stuff like that, because she lost projects too. If you've heard about it, you will understand. If you've heard about it, you'll know that she lost projects for the MCU. Why the fuck they would hire her, I have no clue, other than the fact they want the ship to go down quicker. But she lost projects for them as well. So she ain't got nothing coming up. And she shouldn't. She shouldn't. Not based on what she did in Star Wars. No, you shouldn't have a project coming up. But I will give you the same advice that you didn't ask for, but it's the same advice I gave Tatiana Maslany. Go independent and make your own shit. Because then you get rid of that toxic element that you say is there in Lucasfilms and the Star Wars fan base. You know, if you make your own shit, you make your own fan base. And then it's whatever the hell it is. It can't be toxic, right? Because you're not destroying any canon. You're making it up as you go. So it seems like it would be the most fertile ground for you so-called creative motherfuckers, which none of you do. You got so many ideas? Here, step over to the right and start making them. Independent. Leslie's Films. And do that. And if you don't want to, why won't you? You're creative, right? You can screenwrite, you can direct. You mean you could do it yourself like George did? Since he's not, the center of creativity for Star Wars. Oh, he's only the motherfucker who sat down and wrote the shit. But okay, yeah, no big deal. No big whoop. Y'all can turn that out any day of the week with Chat GPT, right? Well, get fucking cracking. You want to see an acolyte too? Why don't you do like Zack Snyder did? Take your thrown away footage and shop it around to somebody else and see if they want to buy it. And see if they give you the money to make it. And you can make the Headland cut. Or you could just make your own. Since your writing is fan fiction any fucking way. Knock it out. But no, you want to sit over here in the Star Wars universe, bitch about the fan base because they don't like what you made, say they're not really fans, and the people criticizing it are not really critics. Well, what delusional world do you live in? That the people who actually watch the show don't really know Star Wars. Then who the fuck did you make it for? And there's a silent minority. Silent majority? In Star Wars? Nah, it's not. George didn't do enough. He didn't represent this, that, and the other. You know why? Because that ain't the majority of the fucking fan base. You goofy. That was not his concern. He focused on things like, learning how to write a good goddamn story. Things that you didn't focus on, apparently. So if you think what you have is the winning formula for doing this correctly, then why don't you do it over here? Take a step to the right and do it over there on your own. People wonder how you got this job at Lucasfilm anyway, thinking that you got dirt on people. Well, use some of the dirt that you might have and do your own shit over there. And it will be totally devoid of the toxic fan base, won't it? It'll totally be exactly what you want it to be. And it will speak to the people you want to speak to. And you will be in total control of it. Nobody can tell you did it wrong. What's the problem, Leslie? Because just like I know, and you've probably known it longer because you've been living your life this whole time, that no one would give a fuck what you produced. They wouldn't care. It wouldn't be notable. It wouldn't be any good to even make a fan base. You are another one, a failure. Because you should be easily to be able to go and make a Russian Dolls 2 or something, right? Go talk to Netflix and you just make some stuff for them. But no, you're crying about this Lucasfilm shit because that's all you fucking had. Because you got to end with KK. Because you want to be what you're not, which is George. Have a seat, with Tatiana and Joy and shut the fuck up along with them. Because your time with doing Star Wars for me is done. And it's not even personal. You just suck. You just suck. What you produce sucks. You don't need a season 2 to try to do it again. No, it's okay. Spare us. Okay? Spare us. You've done enough damage to this man's legacy and talked enough shit about the creator of the universe you fighting to be in. You've done enough. It's okay. Your movie will always be there. And it will be notable now. You will be remembered for something. You will. Making the worst Star Wars show we've ever seen. And in that sense, you will surpass George Lucas. Because now you can knock off the Christmas special shit. No, it's the Acolyte now. Great. Take that win. You surpass George in some kind of way. Why don't you take a note from Deborah Chow? She did the Obi-Wan show, right? Ain't heard shit from her, have you? She ain't came out and said a fucking thing. And that writer, Joby Harold, where's he at? Heard of him? Anybody interviewed him? Did anybody ask him what he thought of the Acolyte? Go away. Please. I know she said you were welcome here, but you're not. You had a chance. You blew it. Move on. Now, the other person, the last person that I'm going to get to, and then I'm going to get out of here because this is almost an hour. Last person I'm going to get to is still on this Acolyte shit, and it's this Amandla Stenberg. Now, somebody in the chat tell me what else this person has done other than the Hunger Games. Somebody put it in the chat for me because I don't know what else she's done. Because as I know, she's what, 20 something? And when she got that role, what was she, like 9 or 10 or some shit like that? So I'm trying to understand where all this bravado and this attitude comes from on this chick. About who's toxic and what's this and what's that and the other. Look, listening to the interview that she gave, she was going after the fans again, that they were so toxic, they were so this, that, and the other. I'm like, well, you should be well rid of them then, right? You're not doing shit else in Star Wars, right? So you should be well rid of them, right? This should be something in your rear view mirror, right? Herb said he's going to look it up. Do that, because I'm not looking it up. But what I heard in the interview was about her relating her experience from being on the Hunger Games and in their fan base, that it was all really good and they really welcome it and everything else. And that it's a huge contrast between being in the Star Wars universe with these toxic fans and all that. And it's basically the male fans that she want to talk about, like the majority of the fan base. Okay. And then I start thinking about it. It's like, wait a minute. Wasn't your character of Rue in the Hunger Games fucking mute? Weren't you mute? That you didn't say shit? And I'm remembering this while I'm hearing this report of this bitch talking about how good of an actor she is. I'm like, what? You just had to be on screen, you goofy bastard. You didn't get no lines. Holy shit. That means anybody in a cereal commercial is a great actor. As long as they on screen and look like they're interested in eating the cereal. And get the fuck out of here. For the life of me, I don't know where all these people fucking came from. And maybe that's just me being in denial about where they actually did come from, which would be our school system. Because all of these people are within a certain age range and getting put in charge of a lot of important things. Yikes. And they tend to have the same disposition. I'm mad because you won't let me have what I have. And if you don't like me, you're this, that, and the other. And somebody needs to pay attention to me and let me know what I'm getting, because Amandla Stenberg is mad because nobody liked the acolyte. And they hate her because she's a black woman. And they hate her because she's representing the rainbow community. No. People are hating you, Amandla, because you keep talking and going after the fans. Critics and reviewers of the acolyte hate your character of Osha and May because you, as the actor, did not emote at all. The characters suck. And if you were such an awesome actor, you could have elevated that shitty material. But you couldn't. You know why? Because you're not that goddamn good of an actor. They just offered Robert Downey Jr. $100 million to come back and play a role. He just won a fucking Oscar. Did you win a People's Choice? You think you're going to get an Emmy for this shit? Did you even win a Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award? I'm curious. Because I don't see any of that shit in your future. Not for what acting you portrayed in one series where you didn't have any lines, and the next one where you had the whole lines, and your fucking acting sucks. I am a black geek. So I'm aware of the racism when it pops up. I look for it. When it crosses my radar, I perk up about it. None of the white geeks I listen to that watch this fucking show mention one time about your fucking skin color. Not once. You know what they didn't like? Your fucking droopy, bland ass, no acting fucking face. There was no emotion. That's not acting, unless you acting like a plank of wood. There was nothing. Your biggest emotion in that whole show was watching Chimere step out the water bucket naked. And all you did was, Nobody gave a shit about a powerful woman. Vanessa was powerful. Why did nobody like that character? Because her acting sucks. And the character is dumb. Sitting up there with that same pursed, I'm blowing my tea face. Bird beaking it. Reading lines like he had a teleprompter. Your ass get up there just because you got to hold a lightsaber hilt, you think your character is powerful. Your character ain't powerful. Your character is dumb. Both of them. And you played both of them. I've watched a lot of actors play twins or different versions of the same character themselves. You don't match up to any of them. You don't match up to a Toni Collette in United States of Terror playing multiple versions of herself. You don't match up to a James McAvoy in Split playing multiple versions within himself. Your ass just had to play twins. And neither one of them was compelling. Neither one of them was well acted. They were both acted the same fucking way. No variation, no nothing. At this rate, Jean-Claude Van Damme in Double Impact did a better job of playing his fucking twin. And that was in the 90s. You suck at this. Or you phoned it in. It happens. But don't go bitching at the fan base because they didn't like it and they say, hey, I see what you did there. That sucks. No. It ain't toxic to tell you bad at something. That's honesty. Simon Cowell get paid hundreds of $millions for telling somebody, you know what? No, you're not going. You suck. Gordon Ramsay get brought in to other people's restaurants to tell them your food is shit. You need to treat your staff better. Is that how you talk to them? Oh, no. This won't work. It's rubbish. In the bin it goes. He is a whole celebrity from doing that. Does anybody call him toxic? Any competition you show, you watch, somebody is on there telling somebody else when they're doing good and when they suck. That's called reality. You living in a bubble ass. Woo, I almost said it. Your character sucked because it sucked. It was not well acted. If you got more in you, you should have brought it forward. We didn't see it. And in 8 episodes, we were looking for it. So if we don't like the show, we don't like your character, it's not because she was powerful. It's not because she was brown-skinned. It's not because she was a woman and represented the rainbow community. No, it sucked because the writing is trash and your acting matches it. Shut the fuck up. Why don't you take a note from Daisy Ridley's book and say nothing else about the fan base? Nobody asked you to make a diss track, which just, talk about pissing gasoline on a fire. Oh my God. You got to be the dumbest motherfucker walking in Star Wars right now, next to following these 2 other bitches. You got to be the dumbest one. Because you lined up behind 2 failures with your chest poked out. You made a diss track talking shit about the fans. In every interview you do, as much as Leslie got LGBT in her mouth, your ass is jumping out there talking about the toxic fan base. Like, man, at least you remember these lines. At least you're putting some more emotion into spitting these lines out. Why didn't you do that on the show? Your blank face ass. Yeah, no shit. Cheech and Chong and the Corksican brothers was more entertaining. No shit. And yes, Malika, accountability is their kryptonite. If you want somebody to look at you, and I'm directing this to Amandla, just like I directed it to Tatiana Maslany, your whole job as an actor is to give life to the words on the page and embody those words on the page like you are that person. To make the people who watch you feel something from that. Great actors can do it. You're not a great actor. You didn't. Now, you're young. You could get better. But it's based on the fact if you take this criticism from this show and turn it into something where you get better at your craft or get better at picking your projects. So you stay out of shit fucking shows like this. But do you keep going out there and attacking the fan base for that shit, who doesn't appreciate the show and doesn't appreciate the shit that you saying towards them, you know, the paying customers, your ass is going to have a career like Tatiana Maslany. Your shit is going to be sliding into the dumpster before it ever got started. Before it ever got started. Your acting potential is based on how many people want to watch you. And if all you got to say is something negative about the people who did watch you and didn't like your performance, best believe the next time your name comes up at anything, they will not be watching. You will not be the money draw. You will be a reason to like, nope. So keep talking. Keep running your yapper. Keep it up. I can tell you this. It's not a power move. No, it's not the smartest course of action. It's not. If you think so, ask your daddy what he think. Ask him. Does he think it's a smart move? I'm sure he runs a business. Can he go out there and insult his fucking customers and then expect them to come back and pay him? No. Oh, hell no. That just doesn't make any sense. I'm not paying to be insulted. This ain't a comedy show. No, fuck you. I'll keep my money to myself. Thank you. Keep fucking around. You're going to be moving back home. Because your acting career will go nowhere. You will need to hitch your cart up to Leslie and KK to hope they give you a job. And see if you could fail upward like these two goofy asses. But I think you're going to find out the actual toxicity is sitting right behind you. Because they'll get elevated from that shit. They ain't raising your ship. Because they have the complexion for the protection. Kathleen Kennedy lost billions of dollars for Marvel, not Marvel, but Disney, as far as I'm concerned. She still got a goddamn job. Your little ass will be going, sister. You will. Along with your shitty dance moves. So, do yourself a favor. And I'm only saying this to her because apparently I feel some kinship to her because she's a little black girl. But I'm only saying this to you. You need to cut your ties and make some space so you can continue to have a fucking career. Because unless you got some dirt on somebody like Leslie, or you married to somebody powerful in Hollywood like KK, your ass will not have a career behind some shit like this. And the next role you will get will be being mute. Or lining you up for the next Monsters Ball Part 2 so you can feel good. Rainfire, you funny as hell. Call her failing dance moves. Yes, that sucked. Told y'all that shit looked like a black girl who grew up around white chicks to learn how to dance. Scary, scary, scary. So have a seat next to Tatiana, next to Joy, next to Leslie, and shut the fuck up too. Take a big can of it and swig it back. It's nutritious and gluten-free. Just drink it down and do something with yourself other than following these goofy asses. Because you want to find out how that shit worked for them or how it works with them. Because make no mistake about it, I've never thought KK liked black women at all. Never. I saw what she did with black women in the sequel series. You just get to be there so I can fill my quota, but you ain't going to do nothing important. You want to know how they feel about it? Why don't you call up Moses Ingram and have a conversation with her, sister to sister, and see if these the bitches you need to be holding all tight to. There's other places to act. But you keep mouthing off to the fan base like that, your ass will catch some shit rolls. Make no mistake about it. It's like a bad habit, man. They will drop her ass like they drop a deuce. Pinch, drop, flush. And won't be thinking about your ass again. Disney eats up girls. You don't know that shit? That's their bread and butter, eating up young female actresses. You crazy? You must have thought you was going to be Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera or some shit like that, right? No. You ain't even Vanessa Hudgens, motherfucker. She can at least act. Your ass is struggling. But go talk to Moses Ingram and see what you get. What's good, Dr. Anwar? Parrish, you funnier than me. You funnier than me. Holy shit. Oh, you thought of the Grand Theft Auto strippers. Yeah, fucking hey, Jesus Christ. You funny as hell, King. Like, share, subscribe, support the stream if y'all feel so inclined. I don't know who the fuck you are, but here's a goofy opinion for you. There you go. How about that? Let's see, I got a troll. That's okay. You can fade away. Because this is my channel. And I can spit whatever opinion I want to. And if you have an opinion that you think is valuable and you want to put your face to it, You can fire up your own fucking stream, put your face on camera, and say what you think. And maybe I'll come watch you. Well, there you go. Yeah, Moses Ingram caught all kind of flack for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Who put her in that role? KK. KK don't mind throwing some of you minority women to the fucking wolves with some shitty material. She don't mind that shit at all. That is not your fucking friend. If you worked in the office with a bitch like KK, you know you would understand that, sisters. You know you would understand that shit. Like she ain't on the right team. She ain't about me. She gonna fuck me over. Yes, she will. So that's my spiel on that. The only other thing I'll mention right now is I read the article in Vibe magazine on Jonathan Majors. And talk about class. That's all I can say about the article. It was class. Because what it was is somebody stuck a microphone in Jonathan Majors' face and asked him what he thought about the Robert Downey Jr. announcement coming back as Dr. Doom. And he gave them some real spiel. He said he was kind of heartbroken, but Robert is a great actor. That he would have loved to been able to share some screen time with him and see how their acting philosophies match up. If Marvel could have found a way to keep Kang in there and have Kang and Iron Man, go back and forth, not fighting, acting, explaining their philosophies and stuff. And I would agree with him. That would have been interesting to see. It would have been. But Marvel did the hard pivot and just totally wiped Kang away. And even in the wake of that shit, I thought it was really, in some ways insensitive, but they want their red meat, right? They want their red meat. They want to show that this nigga got knocked down off his perch. So that's why they did the article. But he was nothing but gracious and complimentary, and even mentioned, if they could have worked it out, he would love to come back tomorrow. Hell yeah. Like 7 times, hell yeah. He would come back to Marvel. I'm like, yeah. Technically, he was found guilty of aggravated misdemeanor? A misdemeanor? So we saw the video. We saw the court case. He ain't really did shit. Nothing. He was just a notch in somebody else's belt in New York, and that's why this shit even went to trial. But in that article, they asked him, and they pointedly asked him this, which I thought was interesting. Like they must have heard the space before. That given Robert Downey Jr.'s checkered past, before he got on with Iron Man, how that resuscitated his fucking career of how he had ruined it with all the shit that he had done. How Ezra Miller still got to, front a movie with all the shit that he has done on camera. Did he find it a little bit unfair that his ass was getting sent out and dismissed from the MCU? And he handled that shit very, very graciously. And how he mentioned it, oh man, I don't really want to fucking, I wonder if I could find the article. No, I can't, because it was on this news feed thing. going to paraphrase and not do him justice in how he handled it, but he said the person asked him that question and he answered it very cleverly. It's in Vibe magazine. If you can find an article, Jonathan Majors, it was just this week. It was like Wednesday, right? How he answered it, and this is not verbatim, was that he admires the fact that they could such grace, understanding, and compassion was shown to those other two gentlemen. But you kind of see he wish it was brought to bear in his situation. I was like, oh my nigga. That boy got a brain. He didn't disparage Robert Downey Jr. or Ezra Miller. He didn't disparage them at all. He just asked that same, kindness is visibly missing in his situation. And I would fucking agree. You're right. It is. Funny how that happens, isn't it? Now, at least in Robert Downey's case, that was a while ago. It was a while ago now. At least, 10 to 12 years. But it's all out there. Everybody knows it. And he's had a hell of a PR campaign, revitalize his image just playing Iron Man. Because that's what it was. It was his get back on. Like, you really want to, this motherfucker? I don't know, man. He even too much. I don't know about that. It worked out. He changed. Ezra Miller, that movie went down bad. He still got a paycheck. They still made it. Jonathan Majors, nope. You ain't getting shit. For what? Pushing somebody in a car? See, this is where I would point this shit out to somebody like Amandla Stenberg. Amandla, that's what some kind of racist shit looks like. That's what it looks like. Not your no dancing ass. Because technically, on a technicality, he's convicted of something, and they will put that in front of him every time they mention his name. Every time they mention his name, that will be put in front. The same way Leslie always jump up there and say something about the LGBT and she's a queer woman, like we can't look at her and tell, yes, you eat pussy, because no dude would want to fuck you. The same way you run out there for Lucasfilms and say, oh, the fans are toxic, is the same shit that the media will do to him now every time they mention his name. He don't have to say it one time. Not once. He don't have to say he a hetero black man, and he ain't have to say I lost the case. You don't have to say none of that shit. They're going to say it for him. Why? When there's video evidence to show he ain't really did nothing. He ain't did what he was charged with. That's why he got a misdemeanor. They reporting the shit like he got a fucking felony or something. Missed him. What, a parking ticket? Oh yeah. It was a polite as fuck diss. And it wasn't even a diss, Aquateki. It was a response to a dumbass question, basically a trap question. And that motherfucker put the reverse on it. Like, yeah, it's funny how that wasn't used in my situation. I wish people would use that here. It just made you think like, oh yeah, we ain't really, We're gonna leave you alone. You one of them smart Negroes, huh? Yeah, Dr. Anwar running for his life for blocks and blocks. Yeah, he got the warm up and kiss, kiss, bang, bang. Yeah, it was a good movie. Then boom for the Iron Man. But the Iron Man shit was a gamble, dude. Listen, go back. If you have it, go back and watch the Iron Man movie and some of the director shit. That was a gamble. Jon Favreau gambled. He had to convince the motherfuckers to let them put Robert Downey on there because they wouldn't insure him. They wouldn't. It was like, hell no. Who else you got? He had to really put it on the line and gamble on Robert Downey Jr. He really did to put it on the line for him. And it worked. Because the amount of shit that he did, they didn't want to touch him at all. Like, hell no. What is you thinking? Oh, no, sir. No. Who else you got? Who down there at the end of the bench? Because, no, we're not doing this one. It was a fucking gamble. It paid off, but it was a gamble. Yeah, Favreau had faith. Favreau let him helped him resuscitate his shit. That's why they've been in a bunch of movies together since then. He got a lot of respect for Favreau for that shit. If you've seen Chef, who's in Chef? Robert Downey Jr. Why? He will show up wherever that man doing something now. Because he know that man put him on, went to bat for him, and helped him resuscitate his fucking career. They boys. Jonathan Major, Miss Ann, tears and lies are colder. Yeah. And this is the funny part. She lied and admitted it. She didn't even want the shit to go. This ain't even her. This is why you can't really. She shouldn't have did that dumb shit anyway, right? She shouldn't have did the dumb shit anyway. But Grace Jabari didn't bring this fucking case. City of New York City did. The DA did. They the ones did that shit. Because they wanted his ass. That DA just loved going after that. Oh, you in a interracial relationship? Oh, we coming after you, nigga. We gonna make y'all learn to stop messing with these white women. That's what that shit was about. Hey, this was barely a fucking case. And the so-called victim didn't even want it. Like, no, none of that. No. They still pushed it. Okay, whatever, fuck. Shit, RDJ was that Iron Man character. Yeah, Mickey Rourke had horrible past behavior too. Jon Favreau, look, you say what you want about Favreau. Favreau can pick some talent, but he's loyal to people. That's probably why he ain't came out and threw Dave Filoni ass under the bus. Not something he do in the public. It's probably fuck you in private, though. Yeah, loyalty and second chances go a long way. Yeah, they're gonna make Jonathan Majors, spoil on the vine. Because make no mistake, look, I would. Jonathan Majors saying it makes me think about it. Yeah, I would have liked to see him and Robert Downey Jr. doing a scene together. That'd have been really fucking cool. You can still have RDJ as Dr. Doom. It might be something worth watching. Because there's still a few variants of Kang that we have not seen. We haven't. And I don't think Jonathan Majors is a terrible actor at all. No. You gonna blame him for the Quantum Mania? That ain't his fucking movie. That's Paul Rudd's movie. He's the lead character in that shit. So because that failed, is Jonathan Majors' fault? Motherfucker, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. Quantum Mania is the third Ant-Man movie. It stars Paul Rudd, Jonathan Majors, Michelle Pfeiffer, Evangeline Lilly, Michael Douglas. Bill Murray's even in the shit. And the failure for that movie falls on Jonathan Majors? A lot of them people been acting longer than him. Are you fucking kidding me? How do you skip past everybody else and get to him? Oh, that must be that thing Amandla Stenberg was talking about. You know, not liking to see powerful black men in a lead position anywhere. That's the real shit. You didn't see him make a diss track about it. He didn't even come out and slander the fans. It's the same shit you can see going on with Anthony Mackie and Captain America 4. Same shit. So it exists, Amandla, just not for you. Nobody gives a fuck about you. You ain't in no position of no prominence. Stupid ass. Yeah, you about as old as me, Dr. Anwar. You and me both like, wow. That could work, but wow. Yeah, they had a bit of a rivalry. That's why I said it would work. Him saying that would be like, Jonathan Majors saying that made me think like, yeah, that would work because Doom and Kang have to. Even when it was Kang Dynasty first, my thought was they had to bring Doctor Doom in there somewhere because that Secret War shit ain't Kang's deal. So eventually Doom got to show up and kick his ass. Skip his ass off down the time stream so we can get to the Secret War shit with Doctor Doom. That's what my thinking was. But okay. They're going to recast, I guess, whatever the fuck. Yeah, he probably should have got killed in this third movie. But in the comic books, there's not a Ant-Man past. Why am I forgetting his name now? This is what happens when I start getting tired. Fuck. Scott Lang. There's not a person past Scott Lang right now. No shit, Aquateki. Yeah. Initially, it's the writer and the director. You gonna blame the one actor playing the new character in that shit? Michelle Pfeiffer, Michael Douglas been there since the beginning for 2 other whole fucking movies. Paul Rudd been there for all 3. He even got an Avengers movie out to shit. But the failure of Quantum Mania is based on Jonathan Majors? Get the fuck out of here. You know, people, the reason to even put him in that movie was because of his performance in Loki. And people were coming to see him in that shit too. Outside of the fact that it was Paul Rudd and it was another Ant-Man movie. The failure for that movie comes in the fact that y'all spent so much on that goddamn special effects. That's where you keep blowing your budget. I'm not saying make shit cheap, but damn. Ugh. All these actors, all this money, all this special effects. and you thought what you had was going to make you $1 billion, you're never going to hit $1 billion again if you hit it with one movie. That's just me. What did Wakanda Forever do compared to Black Panther? You're hitting that peak again, motherfucker. We've seen it already. Hell nah, Quantum Mania wasn't the worst movie in the world. Just jacked up. Love triangles, girl power, and that fucking MODOK is not a draw for me. It wasn't a draw for me. I don't give a shit about MODOK. Not like that. He got a whole show. Voiced by Patton Oswalt. You know what? I have not watched one episode of that shit and have no desire to because I don't give a fuck about MODOK. Yeah, I know about him. I read fucking comic books, but I don't care about him. He's not that goddamn interesting to me. Fuck no. But let people tell you what they want you to believe. It's his fault that Quantum Mania sucked. No. Mm-mm. It's not his fault for the way his character got did at the end. He got sucked into a little vortex and shit. That's not his fault. That's the writing. It's not his fault that he was sitting there kicking the shit out of Ant-Man's ass. And then you have the Wasp come in and kick him into that shit. That's not on him. That's the writing. Far as I can say for him, he was pretty solid. But he's working with what he's working with. And he did elevate this shitty material. Take notes, Amandla Stenberg. Great actors elevating material. Because best believe when I came into this movie, I knew what I was about to see. Ant-Man about to get his ass kicked. That's what I knew. Prison or not, Scott Lang was about to get pounded on. Because you can call him Kang if you want to, or you can call him Dame. It don't matter. He was going to get his ass beat. And this man's future was looking up, and he was a dark-skinned, broad-nosed, smart-ass black dude in a prominent position. Oh, hell no. Couldn't have that. Hell no. They dropped his ass as soon as they could on a misdemeanor. Really? No, the shit Robert Downey did wasn't a misdemeanor. And I keep mentioning that shit because nobody will talk about it. But the Noche Cuerte, yeah, that shit wasn't a misdemeanor. But I bet I see his ass back before I see Jonathan Majors back. As Victor Timely, Kang, whoever the fuck. But you know why? It's the same reason they didn't want to recast T'Challa. And rolled into a second movie with his sister. Same reason. There wasn't no powerful black man in that shit. They don't. Yeah, they could have pulled. Yeah, they still can. They just won't use Jonathan Majors, which will be their fault. So what? It'll just be, yeah. Yeah, RDJ served prison time. You know, he was convicted of some serious shit. Not a misdemeanor. Got himself real right. Stopped doing drugs and everything. Started doing martial arts. Yeah, of course. But that's why I'm pointing it out, King. So I'm pointing out that shit. The hypocrisy of the fucking statements. They hate me because I'm black and I'm a woman. No, they don't. They hate you because your acting sucked. And the character was poorly written. And the show was poorly put together. Outside of being a offense to anybody with common goddamn Star Wars sense. I've never seen a Star Wars show where Jedis can't sense nothing in the Force. Never ever. I've never seen a show where black girls keep getting shit squirted in their fucking face, and the show was supposedly written by a woman. Whose perverse sexuality is that? That's what's entertaining to you? Huh. You know, I saw that same shit in this last season of The Boys. I didn't like it there either. That black people just got to keep getting something jizzed in their fucking face. I don't find that entertaining because I know the person who wrote that shit got some motive behind it. Actually, that was the most acting Amandla Stenberg did when the droid shot the black juice in her face. I don't know about that. Every time a black man shows promise and heading towards the top of the mountain, they cancel him or cancel his TV show to quit making on movies. Yes. But you know why that is. And understand when I say you know why it is. It ain't all just white women sitting in these writing rooms. It's not. I told y'all before with this whole High Republic shit, when they first start talking about they was going to come out with this High Republic shit and they was doing the books and stuff like that. And I was watching the release video of that shit and they showed the writer's room and I told you what was in there. It looked like the fucking Alphabet Academy, dude. Black chicks with purple hair or some shit like that. So it looked like a who's who of not these fucking people. That's what it looked like. That's who was sitting in that writing room. Being the people who were crafting these stories that were all going to come out. And that High Republic stuff came out and did dog shit. The people who were fans could barely get through reading it. But that was the world KK wanted to make. That's Star Wars and KK's image. It sucks. It's hella inconsistent. And we are better moved away from it than dwelling in it. And that's why she backing Leslie so hard, because Leslie is her choice to bring this to fruition, to bring the High Republic to some prominence and give us more stories in the High Republic era. Thought you was creative, KK. Because you think you making a George Lucas, right? Within George Lucas's sandbox. Right? Yeah, this is goofy. Y'all delusional. Delusional as fuck. Delusional as fuck. But anyway, that's it. Let me go ahead and get out of here. I gave y'all damn near 2 hours when I said I was going to be on here for a quick minute. But apparently, like my sex life, there is never 30 minutes. Never just 30 minutes. No, I'm going to be quick. No, you're not. No, you're not. Nah, I'll be quick. No, you're not. Stop lying to me. Stop lying. Get on this shit and be riding all night. What is this? I don't even know who the fuck that is. Let me give people this props who actually supported this 2-hour stream. Shout out to Rain5 Designs. He said these Gen Zs are so salty. They are saying She-Hulk twerk scene and Deadpool dance scene are the what? Who the fuck said that shit? No, it's not. Fucking hell, this generation, dude. This is why this shit is not the same to me. And this is just my quick hot take. Okay? This is why it's not the same to me. Deadpool is not CG. Okay? Deadpool is not a TV show where kids could watch it. No. Deadpool's character is foul anyway. The Backstreet Boys, or not, excuse me, NSYNC, the other group, is a pop culture phenomenon. I don't think Meg Thee Stallion is a pop culture phenomenon because I never knew who the fuck Meg Thee Stallion was till Anchorman said something about her. She didn't invent twerking, but NSYNC did do the dance moves in a video. That twerking scene in She-Hulk came at the end of an episode, and it was cringeworthy to see a Marvel character twerking. Deadpool scene starts the intro to his movie. That's the opening credits of his movie. And he's not doing anything overly fucking sexual. He wasn't twerking. Here's the other thing. That Deadpool opening, women that I know who have seen it love that shit because they love NSYNC, they love that song, and they love him dancing around to that shit on beat and doing it right, doing the dance steps. It's funny as fuck to them. I couldn't get women to watch She-Hulk. And the ones that didn't give a fuck about the twerking. They found it cringe. So no, it ain't the same thing. Grasping at straws, man, they grasping at swizzle sticks. Motherfuckers. With that shit. But appreciate you, Wayne Fire, for supporting the stream since it's in keeping with what we were talking about. I will give you the power of many. Appreciate you, Rainfire.
The power of one. The power of two. The power of many. The power of one. The power of two. The power of many.
Sorry, I was reading a message. Next one goes out to when it finishes loading up in its own time. What up, JL West? He said, how come they didn't make High Republic video game like the Jedi Survivor or Fallen Order? Because somebody would have to actually read the High Republic books, like them enough that they could have a fan base that will support making a video game about them, that they would be popular enough. And then they would actually have to make a good video game. Because from what I hear, that one that's out right now, what is it, Outlaw or whatever, ain't that good. It doesn't look that good either. So you need that support. But the material has to be good. And if the material is not good, where's the support going to come from? That's why Leslie Headland had her good big-headed ass on social media trying to, the silent majority needs to speak up so we can get a second season. I don't hear the outcry for a second season. Sorry. I'm listening really close. I don't hear it. I don't. You can say you don't want to talk about a second season, but the fact that you had to ask social media to speak up for it means you know you ain't getting one. Sit down. Shut your fucking mouth. Shit. Oh, shit. Oh, 2 Triv from a day ago. Shout out to 2 Triv. He donated the other day. Sorry. Sometimes I don't see the push notifications on this damn thing. So shout out to Two Triv. I will give you, this is for some other shit, but I will give you the 3B salute. Appreciate you, Two Triv. Two Triv had a funny question. He said, who wins the battle? Who wins a battle between Gargamel versus Gandalf the Grey? I know who Gargamel was. He put Smurfs in parentheses. I know what the fuck Gargamel is. I'm an 80s kid. I was born in the 70s. I am an 80s kid. I saw the Smurfs when they showed up. Gargamel and Gandalf the Grey. I give it to Gandalf. I give it to Gandalf the Grey for one reason, and it's pointy. Gandalf the Grey carried a goddamn sword. He carried a sword. Gargamel gonna catch it. Gargamel couldn't fix his goddamn clothes. He had patches in his clothes and shit. Living in that broke down ass house. Nah, man. He can get fucked up. Sorry. Gargamel will catch one. Don't mean I hate Gargamel. It's just we're not talking about the same tier. Okay. Shout out to King Parrish. Appreciate your support, King. He said showing support. Appreciate that. That's how we keep the lights on doing these things. So for that, I will give you the power of many. Appreciate you, King.
The power of one. The power of two. The power of many. The power of one. The power of two. The power of many.
And next one goes out to Aquatechy. Appreciate you, Aquatechy. He didn't say nothing. He just donated. Appreciate that. So to Aquatechy, I will give you the guts and butts. Appreciate you, Aquatechy.
Double up. 3 or 4 times. I ain't telling no lies. Run it up. Never let a hard time on the
There you go. I mixed it up. I got to use just about all of my little charity videos. But that's it. I'm at 150, so this turned into a 2-hour Geek Speak. It's not what the Geek Speak is for, but I had a lot to say, and I said it in the longest way possible. So, for anybody who had a problem with what I said, I do a show every Sunday on this channel at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What is it? 7 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. If you're in the UK, you can pop in the chat, and eventually there's a link. You can jump up there, but you get up there with some nudie pics or something like that, your ass will get dropped down, and I will let YouTube know who you were so they can ban your ass. But you want to debate some shit? Show up, do it. I don't have a problem with that shit. I didn't like this motherfucker that came in here trying to derail my show with his bullshit. Show me your swords. Well, fuck the, what do you think I am? A performing monkey just because I'm brown? Fuck you. Oh. Nigga. Pull your sword out. Shut up. No, that's not what we doing here. Stay on program. Anyway. But for that, that's my show for today. The Wizard Bear on the Gummy Bears will probably kick Gargamel. See? Now, see, that's somebody thinking, Rainfire thinking, like the little Wizard Bear. Gargamel wasn't fucking around in Gummy Glen. He was messing around over there. Go over there and mess with them gummy bears, see what happened to him. In his cat's butt. Yeah, get fucked up. Gargamel couldn't even stand up straight. Come on, y'all. I mean, I like the Smurfs. I like Gargamel, but come on. Something wasn't right. Wasn't working right. Okay, he must have got kicked out the academy or something. He made Smurfette, but I think he lucked up on that shit. It was like accident. It wasn't something he planned. Otherwise, he'd have made 2 more of them. Just saying. And they would have caught every Smurf except for the vanity ass. But anyway, that's it, y'all. Appreciate you coming out. Appreciate you listening to my spiel on this little geek speak. Appreciate everybody who donated to the stream. And I will see you guys next time. If I put this shit up right. See you next time. Peace.